shipless gameplay, no ship interiors, and the next console generation. These three things are probably the more talked about things when discussing Odyssey, yet there are things that you may have missed or forgotten about the upcoming expansion for Elite Dangerous. So, here's a recap for you of the things we know thus far. Let's then start with the basics. Odyssey is going to be a fully fledged expansion, which implies a fully finished gameplay and content addition that is much larger than any single update or DLC that we've had before in the game. It usually means that there would not be such season-like, pre-order update-like crappy behavior that we experienced with Horizon's Season Pass, where developers tell us only about the first few updates and then everyone's just left hoping that whatever they deliver next would actually fulfill the asking price of the Season Pass. No, this should not be such disgusting and abusive behavior, but hopefully an all cards on the table honest continuation of Elite as a game. However, if I'm wrong, well, fuck me then. Price-wise, we still don't have any official statement, but expectations are around $30 to $60, much like the original Elite and Horizon's asking prices. And the release date, as of making this, still is slated for quote-unquote early 2021, so presumably it's 30th December 2021. On more serious note though, the expansion would introduce the coveted space legs, the ability to walk around the planets and starports. But in trailer footage we've only had basically one clip of actual first-person walking and a couple of screenshots from a magazine. However, the things that we've seen from the trailers, for me at least, often raise the question, what are they not showing us that led to some harsh truths, as I guessed that there would not be any ship interiors. And I was proven right, the ship interiors would not be part of the gameplay, and so many mocked that upcoming space legs would basically be just another SRV. Oh yeah, do you remember how proud the developers were saying that, oh, you're gonna have the Neil Armstrong moment with Odyssey in their promo videos?
One of the key things I really wanted to push was the idea that you'd kind of get that Neil Armstrong moment when you actually set foot on a planet for the first time.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but the last time Yamix checked, Neil and Buzz didn't quite spontaneously teleport outside the lunar lander, right? What kind of moment are the developers so eager to talk about? I personally have no idea. Now here's another interesting angle. Developers have avoided showing EVA, or simply spacewalks outside your ship. And while this is unsubstantiated, I have a feeling that the free space legs would not be possible. I mean, Yamix was correct on the ship interiors before developers admitted it, so I mean this could be as well. But regardless of that, Odyssey will allow players to walk and explore light atmosphere planets that presumably would not feature any water and would require oxygen for the suit to traverse. So presumably we would still not be able to land or enter the atmosphere of Earth-like worlds, water worlds, ammonia planets, and I think a few other ones. As for the gameplay addition to such light atmosphere worlds, that would be the exobiology, or whatever they called it, which would evolve into taking samples from some plants that grow on such planets. Also, there would be a 5th elite rank, just for that type of gameplay. Also, according to the PC Gamer magazine, fighting and shooting at aliens would not be part of Odyssey, so it looks like we won't see animals or Targoids in a living state for the expansion as well. As for shooting, the mechanics are still quite unclear as we only have a couple of screenshots of the HUD-less gameplay for the first person, but according to PC Gamer magazine interview, the gameplay would be more tactics-based than action. Weapons, as far as they are, they look quite not really fitting for Elite's existing universe, at least to me. And I think that's just visual inconsistency. I mean, just look at how SRV concept or the real versions are made, and compare them to the toy-like design of the handheld guns and the suits. Still, this indicates a drastic art team change, which hopefully will bring some interesting things to balance out the consistency, or the lack thereof. Speaking of art and spacesuits, there would be first of all different spacesuits with different functionality, and you would be able to upgrade them. As to how or what, we still don't know. However, what we know is that there would be paid microtransactions as cosmetics, making an appearance for the paid expansion. Yeah. Combat-wise, much like it was with the Horizons when it launched, the SRVs, ships, and on-foot players would share play space, being able to affect each other. And honestly, that's expected. Next then is also a mention of a shipless gameplay, where by using Apex Traveling Agency or whatever they called it, you would be able to go places without your ship. Now, it's not clear of what or how it would work, but we're all hoping that for the sake of Cthulhu flying ballsack monster god that it would not feature the ship transfer immersion timers. But time, will tell. We also do not have any info of if you would be able to travel far and wide or just between a few systems. There's also a mention in the PC Gamer magazine of a physical multicrew, or whatever that means, but considering that the ship interiors are confirmed and not to be part of Odyssey, this mention of physical multicrew just makes me think of just normal multicrew, where you're just teleported into a seat when entering a ship, then subsequently disconnecting, like in a normal multicrew, but it's still too soon to say. However, it's also mentioned that players would be able to ferry other players around or something, so we'll see what that's about. After that, the so-called social hubs are the station interiors that would feature in-person mission pickups, and hopefully that would not mean the fucking box mission that the Star Citizen is so proud of. Otherwise, I would fervently like to kill myself. However, from concept art we can glimpse a Star Citizen-like weapon shops and other areas that all told is a correct and interesting way to do interiors. Seriously. As much as other competitors do their own things, it's nice to at least take a look and perhaps take an inspiration from the good ideas. But returning to the guns, it's been revealed in the PC Gamer magazine that suits would also have personal shields. And weapons, be those laser or kinetic ones, would have damage types. Much like with the ship gameplay we have right now, there would be resistances. So laser weapons would kill shields faster and kinetics would kill flesh best. And honestly, that's okay. Oh, and how could I forget this? Of course, from the first trailer, we also have some No Man's Sky looking jetpacks as well. And say what you will, those are fucking jetpacks, okay? Not liking them is like seriously admitting that you are some sort of a otherkin or something. Anyways, as for the VR, possibly one of the biggest draws for the privilege market players with their privilege goggles. Well, you won't need to swap back to Horizons to use VR. The VR would still function normally in Odyssey, but it would not have VR support for the so-called Odyssey content, i.e. on foot. Developers say that whenever you would jump into the SpaceLegs gameplay, your VR gear would just simply switch to flat screen projection, basically having two monitors glued to your eye sockets. While I agree that this would be a decent compromise, it's, however, not a great result and loses the part of Elite that makes it immersive for a surprising bunch of players. And finally, the consoles. Well, developers have not shown any support for the new console generation, that is, PlayStation 5 and Xbox. They are backwards compatible, meaning would also be run on the new ones without optimization or improvements. Basically, the real thanks goes to the console makers for ensuring that the code would run on the new machines, as Frontier doesn't seem to be willing to lift a finger for this. Which, frankly, is quite sad, especially considering that making Elite go crossplay would be so awesome. You know, like what No Man's Sky did a few months back. I mean, it would be such a cool thing, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, no. No crossplay, no next-gen optimization, no VR, or... Anyways, for now, that's about all we know for Odyssey. Some interesting things, but a lot of questions and very few answers. Mostly the answers are on the things that it would not have, rather than what it would. Still, stretching our legs will be kinda cool, and I especially am looking forward to the FPS mechanics, as that is the genre that I'm the closest to. Anyways, let me know if I missed anything, and I'll be sure to include it for the part 2 later down the line. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed the recap and somehow want to support it a little bit more, well, check out the description for the links on Patreon, Streamlabs, YouTube membership and merch store and more. But as for now, I think I'll go cry in a corner that I'll never get to touch my Python more intimately inside.